Semifinal number 2 at the APP Dallas Open about to get underway. You're taking a live look at Will Howells getting warmed up here on Championship Court. The former University of Notre Dame tennis star is now calls Boca Raton, Florida, home. 24 years old, and he's partnered with Mark Dancuart here in Dallas. Mark, 22 years old, out of also Boca Raton, originally from Lima, Peru, however. And on the other side of the court, their opponents, Mario Barrientos, 29 years old, out of Provo, Utah. We've seen him a few times here on the APP Tour. Another player that just continues to get better every time we see him. His partner, Patrick Kawka, 31 years old, based out of Las Vegas, Nevada. These two have played together a few times here on the APP Tour. It'll be interesting to see how that helps them here in Dallas. See if they can lock in their spot in the gold medal match. Barrientos and Kawka, bottom of your screen.
Serving on my right.
Dancuart and Howells
Kawka,
at the top.
Barrientos team, game 1, time in. 0-0-2.
It's going to be Mario Barrientos getting us started here in the second semifinal.
And that one's a little bit.
Let it rip, Mario. Let it rip.
So Dancuart's actually been the training partner for Will Howells for the last 2 years. Howells credits Dancuart to his success. So they're very comfortable with each other on the court. This is the first time that we're going to see them today. They've been on the outer court.
1-0-1.
It'll be interesting to see Dancuart's game. We know Howells very well. Ooh, that's in.
Oh, and Kawka just waiting to punish that ball.
There's so many options. A lot of players like to be cute and just drop that ball in. I'd rather.
When that one bounces that high,
you just got to punish that ball.
The other thing you got to be careful of is not hitting the net after when you take that follow through with it being so close.
Well, nice two-handed backhand drive there from Will Howells as he steps into a short return there.
Side out.
Side out here. The other thing I was going to say is when you have so many options, sometimes what ends up hurting the player is the hesitation and trying to figure out which shot to go with. No hesitation from Kawka there, and off the paddle of Dancuart.
Yeah, Dancuart just tried to bump that one back, but it held up in the wind. You see Howells tapping him on the shoulder there, saying, hey, it's all good. Just play our game. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? So you've already made it through to a semifinal. Why change? There's no need to change anything from what got you here.
Right.
Just because it's semifinal right now, there's a little bit more pressure, but play like you've been playing all day.
Do what got you here, right?
Yep.
It doesn't matter. Make them adjust their game to you.
2-2-2.
2-2-2. Kawka with the serve. Well, Howells getting out of the way of that one pretty well, and it's going to be a side out.
Yeah, good leave there. And for Barrientos, he's missed a couple of balls deep. That ball's below the net. You can't take a full swing right there when the wind's behind you. Just impossible to keep that ball in.
Points.
Great serve there from Dancuart. 3-2. They have the lead.
3-2-1.
Oh.
Great reset there from Howells.
Oh, it's in!
Kawka behind the back, but Howells with the finish for the winner.
Highlight reel reset there from Kawka, but unfortunately on it, he pops it up.
Just a little delicate there from Howells. I like to say, Howells can drive the ball. I want to see Howells and Dancuart drive the ball into the wind right now. You can take your chance with the drops on the other side, but be aggressive on this side especially.
Nice spot right there from Kawka as you watch him hold this ball on his paddle to the last second. He almost gets Dancuart to commit to the sideline, and then he finds a hole in the middle.
2-4-1.
Aggressive at the kitchen line are Dancuart and Howells to push Kawka and Barrientos to their second serve.
2-4-2.
Oh, nice job by Barrientos getting on top of that ball finally, right? You watch these hands battles, and they're all about waist high. Watch this. Everything's waist height. Then Barrientos able to get on top of that ball and get it down to the feet. That's a difference maker in those hands battles.
Points.
You see Barrientos that whole time.
Every time
He's sitting. One of his strengths is his backhand
exactly,
flip, right?
that's what I was going to say.
You watch him. He's a right-sided guy, right? Even though he's so big, he loves that right side because he's sitting heavy on that backhand. So it's something to watch when you guys are watching this. Watch how he sits when he gets to that kitchen line.
Oh, so casual. Dancuart ready for it. Forehand back over the net and forcing a side out. Chance to regain the lead here for Dancuart and Howells.
Second server.
Howells asking how that ball got left short.
Again, I'm just saying, hit through the wind. The wind is going to knock these drops down. Oh, that was a very high serve from Howells.
So players have been talking about that all weekend, of high serves, and Will's one of them. But again, if I'm a player too,
you're going to push the limits. You're going to push the limits
until someone will call me on it. If you're not going to call me on it, I'm going for that right there. It may be iffy, but he's not getting called on it, so I'm still going for it.
So for those who are new to pickleball, what is the rule that he's flirting with that serve?
It's the height of where he's making contact above his belly button, and he's doing.
And it's a flat paddle as well.
Right, so he's flirting with that line, but if no referee's going to call it, again, it is no fault of his own, right? He's going to continue to do that, which he should, until someone is going to call that.
5-5-1.
Little change of pace there from Kawka through Dancuart off.
Good lead there by Dancuart and Howells, and on to their second serve are Kawka and Barrientos. This is the second men's semifinal here at the APP Dallas Open. Winner of this earns a spot in the gold medal match against Max Manthau and Eric Lang. Howells with a big two-handed backhand, looking for the drive over the net, just clips the top of it. So it's 6-5. Kawka and Barrientos take the lead.
6-5-2.
Oh, he wants it back. Kawka just rushing that one. Same run into that ball, hits the top of it.
5-6-1.
Good leave there, but just barely for Howells and Dancuart as that ball just misses wide.
Well, Barrientos will take that hands battle all day. He just pulls it a little bit wide on that backhand counter.
Second server.
Yeah, nice and short there from Kawka, getting on top of it. Gets that ball down. Howells trying to attack, but he's swinging from down up.
6-6-2.
Big third shot drive off the paddle of Dancuart and into the net, so it's side out.
We watch him as he goes to drive this. He almost steps through it, and the weight transfer just a little too much forward, which creates that downward angle.
I think that one caught the top edge.
You think?
I'm going to go with an affirmative.
Yeah, edge guard long.
6-6-2.
Again, Kawka is wanting to drive that ball, but he's just moving into it too quickly.
So an
That ball ends up getting deep.
an offensive timeout called here on the court as Dancuart and Howells get another shot to take the lead here in this first game. Best 2 out of 3, 2-11 here in our second men's semifinal. We're going to step aside for a moment. Be right back.
People play pickleball for exercise, competition, or to hang out with friends. What your reason is doesn't matter to Gamma. What matters is that you play, that you enjoy playing with passion, and you have so much fun you can't wait to play again. At Gamma, we offer paddles perfect for all levels, including yours, because pickleball is about you, the player, and what feels right. Pickleball is your game. Make Gamma your paddle. Play to live, live to play. Gamma Pickleball.
Since I've been using Leo rubber, I've had way less problem on my AT band and hip. If I had to describe it in a few words, I would say it's a must, it's effective, and it's stylish.
At Typical Insurance, you're just another senior.
Back to the APP Dallas Open, game number 1 of our second men's doubles semifinal. About midway through. As about midway through as you can get when it's a game to 11.
I do like the offensive timeout here called by Howells and Dancuart.
Chance to make good use of it. Dancuart with the serve.
That's
immediately.
That's so good, right? Like, that's textbook right there from Will Howells. Gets that paddle out in front. Doesn't do too much. That big wrist flick.
Yeah, jumps on it quickly before Barrientos could even get into position for the counter.
Oh, look at
Dancuart. Get out of the way on that one.
Watch this move.
Another look.
And
zoink.
Give me a C.
That one off the paddle of Howells and wide. So pushes them onto their second serve. Dancuart with it. Seems like some nerves have settled down here for Dancuart and Howells.
Yeah.
You mentioned their familiarity with each other, but we haven't seen a lot of Dancuart on championship court here on the APP Tour, and now they've got the lead here in this first game. Oh, and Kawka just misses that one off the tape. I think it bounced off the tape, and so it's a 9-6 lead here for Howells and Dancuart.
Oh, help from the net cord.
Sets up a game point opportunity here for Will Howells.
Well, the offensive timeout has now given them a 4-point run.
And a timeout called on the court by Kawka and Barrientos as they face their first game point here of this men's semifinal number 2. Taking a look at our championship court here in Rockwall, Texas, just outside of Dallas. It is hot and humid. Wind gusting a little bit here too, so that has played a factor on these matches here today and throughout the weekend. While the players take a break, we have a chance to get a word from Franklin.
Introducing Skechers Pickleball, the official footwear of the APP Tour. They're ultra lightweight and responsive for incredible speed. They have Goodyear rubber outsoles with a specialized pickleball design for increased side-to-side stability and agility. Plus, they feature shock-absorbing foam and Skechers' famous relaxed fit design for incredible comfort game after game. Conquer the court in comfort. Skechers Pickleball, the official footwear of the APP Tour.
Back in action here in our men's semifinal, game number 1. Kawka and Barrientos successfully defend one game point and get the ball back on their side.
Second server.
Nice dink cross court, hard forehand from Dancuart right there, and Barrientos not moving his feet.
And my goodness, is that wind picking up from all directions.
I think it feels lovely here in the booth.
Well, I'm not complaining about how it feels. I'm just talking about the way it might be affecting the play.
The players may not be liking it as much, but, you know, a nice breeze here in the booth is welcomed.
Dancuart trying to pull the trigger from his shoe tops there on an aggressive dink.
7-10.
It's a tough ball to try and do anything with.
Ooh, big serve.
One mistake combined with another, and all of a sudden here come Kawka and Barrientos.
8-10-2.
Uh-oh.
That's my bad.
Yeah.
Side out.
Commentator jinx provided by Dominic Catalano.
My bad.
So it'll be a side out, second game point opportunity here for Dancuart and Howells.
10-8-1.
Mark Dancuart with the serve. Third
Second
shot drop
server.
left, little bit short. Second serve.
All of a sudden, they've just gotten a little passive
10-8-2.
after the timeout from Barrientos and Kawka.
Point.
There they go.
Game.
Will Howells
11-8.
and Dancuart finish what they started.
Howells.
11-8.
Timeout.
They take
Again,
game one
2
here of our
minutes.
men's semifinal number
It's a nice,
2.
nice little aggressive move here from Will Howells. There's that flick, but again, Jay, we talked about that flick. Gets it out in front, and gets it down.
Calmness of the body.
So game one goes the way of Howells and Dancuart. When we come back to the APP Dallas Open, game 2.
People play pickleball for exercise, competition, or to hang out with friends. What your reason is doesn't matter to Gamma. What matters is that you play, that you enjoy playing with passion, and you have so much fun you can't wait to play again. At Gamma, we offer paddles perfect for all levels, including yours, because pickleball is about you, the player, and what feels right. Pickleball is your game. Make Gamma your paddle. Play to live, live to play. Gamma Pickleball.
Since I've been using Leo River, I've had way less problem on my AT band and hip. If I had to describe it in few words, I would say it's a must, it's effective, and it's stylish.
At Typical Insurance, you're just another senior.
That is the third health insurance commercial with seniors at a farmer's market.
Right? Don't get me wrong, I love a fresh heirloom, but it's like those companies think we're all the same.
That's why I chose Humana. Before I signed up, I spoke to someone who actually listened to what I needed. She told me about benefits that were right for me, like vision and dental, all in my budget. I finally feel in control. What are you doing?
Taking control.
Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious. With better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best.
Welcome back to the APP Dallas Open. Game 1 goes away of Will Howells and Mark Dancuart. They're going to get us started here in game number 2. Spot in the gold medal match on the line. Ooh. Reset there from Dancuart, a few of them. Then Kawka gets too big.
Harder. Hit it harder. Kawka going full flamingo here. One leg on this one. Here comes that one. And then one more.
Had to make sure you got on top of it.
Second server.
That's something we typically see from Barrientos right there, the forehand speed up.
0-0-2.
Came out a little flat. Yeah, excellent return, and then a good fourth shot there from Will Howells. 2 deep balls, tough to pick up.
A little off-pace flick there from Kawka, and I think that Dancuart was thinking he was going to go right at him. Instead, he finds a hole just off his left hip.
Great spot there, Kawka. No change up there, just a heater.
You're seeing a discussion that was had in between games by Kawka and Barrientos. They are now completely targeting Dancuart right here. If they're going to make anyone beat him, it's going to be Dancuart and not Will Howells.
Will Howells with the authoritative finish there, though. little nod of okay from Kawka. Okay. just left short off the paddle of Barrientos. So side out. Still looking for our first points here in this second game.
Second
that ball
server.
pushed deep off the paddle of Dancuart. Second serve.
Good leave right there from Kawka. Notices that Dancuart's trying to speed that up from a low position and just gets his body out of the way.
0-0-2.
Oh, Barrientos backhand flick.
Side out.
Howells can't defend. Another side out. So, 4 scoreless service sides exchanged to start this game. What's it going to take for Kawka and Barrientos to break the pattern?
Big serve, big drive.
Big serve.
Yeah, no.
Instead, they play the patient game.
There were 2 very tentative dinks from Dancuart that clipped the tape. Then there's one of them right there. And then the next one attempted speed up from a low ball. Again, great execution from Barrientos and Kawka right now of what they want to do, where they want to go with the ball.
1-0-1.
Great defense there from Dancuart. Finds a spot in the middle. Second serve.
Yeah, a little off balance on that last counter. But he started the hands exchange, so had to stay in it.
Barrientos that time putting the pressure dinks on and gets him a point.
You hit both Barrientos and Kawka. As soon as that happened, both of them looking at each other, nodding their heads, going, yep, it's exactly where we want to be right there. Let him try and attempt to speed that up, that being Dancuart. If he does, we're ready for it.
Something else to watch is with the players having switched sides here in this second game, and we saw it in the first semifinal, it's just how the wind can affect different sides of the court. See which these teams can make the adjustment. Good reach in there from Kawka, takes the dink out of the air and quickly onto their second serve are Dancuart and Howells.
Well, the thing that you're going to see too is if Dancuart is going to continue to be
0-2-2.
singled out and really targeted, you're going to see Howells come over. Oh, got him in the face.
Side out.
You got to see Howells come over and try and do more and take more balls, which then opens up that line behind Howells. So it's a difficult situation there for Will Howells and a fine line of whether he tries to do too much or whether you kind of allow your partner to find a rhythm, find a groove after being targeted.
Good leave there by Dancuart.
Did that ball touch you? Second server.
So it'll be second serve here.
2-0-2.
Kawka with it, 2-0-2. Great finish there off the paddle of Howells, and it's a side out.
Well, much better job right there of Dancuart getting on top of that and finding the feet on the backhand.
0-2-1.
Deep serve there off the paddle of Dancuart.
By rule, the call stands. I did not see it.
Oh, we'll get our first challenge.
Referee timeout.
So a challenge here from Howells and Dancuart.
Baseline by the serving team.
As they want to take a second look at this serve called out
0-2-2.
here in the second game of our men's semifinal, number 2. So Dancuart and Howells still looking for their first point here in this second game, which may be why they're part of why they're challenging this is because it has been hard for both teams, really, to find some points. Bit of a contrast to the way things started in game number 1. Let's take another look here.
Yeah, that ball looks out.
Yeah. But again, we talk about it all the time. We'll hit on it again here. Is you think it's close? It's a 2-0 lead for Kawka and Barrientos. You don't have to burn a timeout. We think it's close enough to challenge. Challenge it. You're right, you're wrong, doesn't matter. But that one does look to be just a little long. But again, it's a free timeout. So use it to your advantage. Slow them down just a little bit.
Well, so in the vein of trying to use it to their advantage, how do Dancuart and Howells get on the board here in this second game where points have been really hard to come by?
Well, again, we're going to get a answer here from, I believe, Diane Unitich is our head referee here on court for this semifinal match. But again, if I am Dancuart and Howells right now, it's Dancourt's got to find a rhythm, right? Because he's getting targeted with about 8 out of 10 balls. They're going behind Howells when they need to just to keep him a little honest. So again, it's about, can Dancuart handle the amount that is coming to him right now? What is he going to do with it? Is he going to stay calm, stay patient, stay in the point, not try and do too much? But then on the flip side, like Chad mentioned, what's the fine line of Will Howells coming over and taking some of those, almost like you would in mixed doubles, to try and make something happen? So again, it's that fine line of what's he going to do, how much is he going to come over and step in?
Well, I think Dancuart needs to hit a few more balls to get Howells. That'll get Howells involved as well. Go down the line behind the backhand side of Patrick Kawka and then stay. When it comes back, find that left foot of Barrientos, because then it's just going to be a bump that goes back cross court. That gives Howells an opportunity to step in and do something with it, or try to move that ball around. When the thing is, when you go cross court to cross court, you think, okay, my partner's going to get involved here, but no, it's actually taking the ball further away from your partner because your opponents are able to take that sharper angle wider.
Well, and the other question, as we wait here to get official confirmation of the
Due to video difficulties, the call on the court stands. We will resume play at the 0-2-2.
So 0-2-2, the call on the court stands. Dancuart and Howells on their second serve here.
Time in. 0-2-2.
Will Howells with the serve. Great finish there. Kawka, little backhand overhead flick.
And I think that's a ball that Howells has to take there, not Dancuart, because it's on the backhand side. It's behind him as it's going through that middle.
2-0-1.
So it'll be a side out here. Barrientos with the serve. Dancuart initiating the speed up, and then Kawka with the finish.
Chad and I both like pointing. It's the speed up from Dancuart cross court. It gets him in trouble here. Watch it. And then he gets punished straight on.
Well, even the ball before that, I think that's an opportunity for Howells to slide over and take that. Dancourt's left foot's on that middle line. Howells is basically standing right next to him. You need to give a little bit more room in the middle there.
Oh, the around the post from Will Howells just can't get enough shape on it, so it's 4-0.
That is a great ball by Patrick Kawka right there. He feels that Will Howells pinching so hard middle. He gives a hard two-handed roll, and Howells can't go ATP.
Well, and this is a tricky situation right now for Howells and Dancuart because you've identified it. We've seen it on the court, right? Dancourt's getting targeted. So now Will Howells is in a situation where he has to figure out, what is my role here? I can't pinch too hard middle, but I also can't stay completely on my side.
But right now he doesn't have the opportunity even to pinch middle. Dancuart is sitting very much middle. You can see his positioning. Oh, we're going to get a switch. Put him on the other side. But you'll see Dancuart is only a step away from that middle line. If Howells wants to move, he can't move. He's going to run into Dancuart or they're going to clash paddles. So need to kind of give a little bit more space in that middle, allow Howells to move around a little bit more.
So a 6-0 lead here for Kawka and Barrientos after they drop game one. We'll step aside for a word from our sponsor, Gamma.
People play pickleball for exercise, competition, or to hang out with friends. What your reason is doesn't matter to Gamma. What matters is that you play, that you enjoy playing with passion, and you have so much fun you can't wait to play again. At Gamma, we offer paddles perfect for all levels, including yours. Because pickleball is about you, the player, and what feels right. Pickleball is your game. Make Gamma your paddle. Play to live, live to play. Gamma Pickleball.
16 years from today. Volunteer and community events. They'll keep Greg active, involved, and mischievous, and help make sure his happiness lives as long as he does. That's why the younger you are, the more you need AARP.
Welcome back to the APP Dallas Open. A reminder to check out pickleballsuperstore.com via the QR code on your screen to get your instant discount. That's pickleballsuperstore.com.
I'd like to see right here Dancuart almost just faking Ernie.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Right? Because what that'll do is it'll force them to have to go middle with the ball.
Or
right?
that.
Or that works too. But if he's getting as many dinks as he has, dink one back over, faking Ernie, and then the ball will have to go to Howells. Then Howells gets involved immediately no matter what.
And out of the timeout, Howells and Dancuart do everything they can to get themselves an opportunity to get on the board here in this second game. Another look. Good placement there. Kawka just dropping that ball inside the sideline.
I think, honestly, Dancuart's left a couple of those drops high. Drive a couple. Get the funk out. Oh, right on the baseline. Drive a couple and get that funk out, and then you can go back to dropping if you want. But right now, with leaving the drops high, you need to loosen things up a little bit.
Great spot there that time. Dancuart gets it past the paddle of Kawka. Second serve. Here's another look.
And nice work here by Dancuart. And again, finding the right time. He doesn't rush it. Waits for the speed up, and then he counters.
Barrientos initiating the speed up, but Howells was ready for it.
Yeah, they just rushed that backhand flip, kind of the reverse backhand. He turns that hand over instead of just going with the back of the hand of the ball.
Well, Kawka just getting jammed up just enough right there.
1-6-1.
Again, the wind carrying that ball a little deeper than he anticipated.
Second
Speaking
server.
of carrying deeper than anticipated,
Yep.
Howells serve sails long. Second serve.
1-6-2.
Excuse me, Dancuart serve.
A good movement there from Kawka, sliding his feet over to the middle, taking that forehand, getting it out of the air, and putting pressure on Dancuart.
I think,
6-1-1.
still think Howells needs to get more active right now.
Has to.
But again, look at how close together they are.
Great finish there by Howells. Forehand at the feet of Barrientos. Second serve.
6-1-2.
6-1-2 the score for Kawka's serve. That time Howells gets behind Kawka.
Side out.
Well, Kawka tried to get big in the middle right there, and the one he tried to get big on, it left him kind of hung out to dry. And then backside wide open, Howells finds it.
1-6-1.
1-6-1, Howells with the serve.
Kawka trying to go for too much there.
Point.
Taking that ball into the short court, outside that right hip of Dancuart.
Barrientos not getting any, gets a little help off the tape, but then Howells
3-6-1.
able to
1 minute.
force the speed up off of the tape. And so it's a timeout called on the court as Dancuart and Howells have gotten themselves back in this second game. They sat at 6-0 for quite a few serves, and now they've gotten a few back. So a timeout called on the court gives us a chance to hear from Yola.
Less is more, unless it's less beer.
Cat tire.
Welcome back to the APP Dallas Open.
We're getting language lessons here in the booth.
It's a 6-3 lead.
We have the
3-6-1.
widest person out here in Susanna Bond telling us how to speak Spanish.
She is a Spanish national champion. In case we don't know that.
She was a linguist, though. She was a linguist.
She
Arabic.
is a
Yeah. Hey.
And the reason
how do you
we're
say
talking
red in Arabic?
to Susanna Barr is because her and her partner, Kawka Carvajal Lane, are coming up next in our women's semifinal number 1 here on Championship Court. They're taking on Megan Fudge and Jill Braverman. Before we get to women's, though, must wrap up the men's action here, and great spot there. Dancuart and Howells out of the timeout, continuing to build on the momentum.
We've seen a lot more confidence here out of Dancuart.
Has them back within 1.
Oh.
How about confidence?
What a dig there from Dancuart.
If he didn't have confidence before, he should now.
This ball's behind him.
Shoelaces, and then back of the fence.
Great
It's a
get.
little too big from Kawka right there.
What was once a 6-0 lead for Barrientos and Kawka has completely disappeared. Dancuart and Howells finding some rhythm, but it is a side out on the court, so Barrientos with the serve and a chance to regain the lead.
Points.
The serve I didn't think was going over. I didn't think the return was going over, and then all of a sudden we get into a firefight from our shoe tops.
Speed up initiated by Kawka, but it's Dancuart who comes around with the around the post that went almost cross court.
Yeah, it takes such a big kick off the net court here from his ball off of Kawka. Dancuart hits it inside the kitchen around the post.
Beautifully done. Second serve here. Oh, and then Kawka says, I can do that too.
On the backhand
Taste
side.
of medicine.
Well, great point construction again from Kawka and Barrientos, not being too aggressive here when not need be, but I like the ball from Barrientos. He went behind Howells and involved him a little, and that opened up that cross court.
Oh, no help off the net there. So that ball called out
Calling a court stand.
by Kawka and Barrientos.
9-6-2.
It's a 9-6 lead here. Kawka with the serve.
Points.
The only problem right there, Dancuart wasn't ready for the counter back from Barrientos. Nice speed up from Howells.
10-6-2.
Sets up a game point opportunity here for Kawka and Barrientos. And they get it done. They led 6-0 before letting Dancuart and Howells get back in it, but finish things off here in game number 2. Another look at game point.
Yeah, the issue here is Dancuart takes this cross court, so then Barrientos can go straight on Howells and just not enough reaction time.
So let's play a third, shall we, to decide who earns a spot in the men's doubles gold medal match when we come back to Dallas.
Greg active, involved, and mischievous, and help make sure his happiness lives as long as he does. That's why the younger you are, the more you need AARP.
Introducing Persona IQ, the smart knee. Address your knee pain with a replacement that contains sensors which capture helpful information such as your range of motion, stride length, walking speed, and step count to ensure your new knee is performing at its best. It keeps you connected to your healthcare team so you can receive important reminders and personalized recovery guidance. It's not a GPS. It doesn't collect where you've been or where you're going. Persona IQ, a smarter way to regain mobility.
In this city, flavor is a way of life. And every dish is a work of art. La Victoria, inspired by LA flavor since 1917.
Welcome back to the APP Dallas Open. We're about to start game 3 of our second men's semifinal. But before we do that, Humana would like to recognize Gene Click for the Humana Human Care Spotlight. Gene was introduced to pickleball 11 years ago through his church and has since dedicated his time to the growth of the sport, active lifestyle, and relationships that come from it. He has been a tremendous partner to the APP through our Dallas events and has also served as president of the Greater Oklahoma City Pickleball Club. Gene says, whether I'm playing on the court or working behind the scenes, my focus is always on fostering connections and making sure the love of the game continues to grow. Thank you, Gene, for all that you do. Live action here, game 3 underway.
Ooh, nice hands.
I thought Kawka didn't speed it up hard enough.
Yeah.
But I think the pace of not speeding it up hard enough threw off Dancuart just enough that Kawka's able to get on top of that second.
Side out.
A spot there from Howells.
0-1-1.
Just catching that ball a little deep. Oh.
Caught in transition there is Dancuart onto their second serve.
Yeah, but even though if Dancuart can get a split step and then go on the counter, kind of just was moving through transition there right as Kawka hit that ball.
Great spot there from Kawka. Just gets the ball to drop inside the baseline.
If Dancuart looking at Howells right there going, should I taking that? You want that? No.
1-0-1.
So it'll be a side out here. Chance for
Second
Kawka and
server.
Barrientos to extend their lead, but onto their second serve.
1-0-2.
Good counter there from Dancuart, reading the drive off the paddle of Barrientos.
0-1-1.
Kawka goes for the flip, but what a get from Mark Dancuart.
In the middle of that point, I was thinking about that, going, are we going to maybe see a lob here? But again, this is not the time to lob that. Kawka got pushed back a little bit. He's on his heels. And then again, with the wind at his back, he tries to baby it a little too much and doesn't get enough of it.
Howells initiating the speed up and forcing the out ball.
And that's his strength right there, is that reach in flick. One hand, backhand flick goes straight to that second ball.
2-1-1.
It's a good 1-2 combo.
2-1-1, Dancuart with the serve.
Points.
So all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, I should say, but game 3, we're starting to see a lot more of the rhythm that Dancuart and Howells had in the back half of game 1 and the back half of game 2, starting earlier here in game 3. Oh!
Points.
Dancuart flips
Time
it
out,
right
receiver.
at Patrick
4-1-1.
Kawka.
1
Sort
minute.
of.
And Kawka gets clipped in the side of the head, but again, it wasn't a purposeful. He was trying to get out of the way right there and just kind of ducked into it right here. And he looks at, Dancuart going, hey, it's not your fault, bro. I got it. I was trying to get out of the way anyway.
Yep, but instead it's a point here for Dancuart and Howells. Game number 3 to decide who faces Max Manthau and Eric Lang in the men's doubles gold medal match. So we've talked a lot about the dynamic between Dancuart and Howells, and Chad, you were talking about how these two have been hitting partners for quite some time, but here on Championship Court, as much as Will Howells credits Dancuart with his progression as a pickleball player, Howells has experience here on Championship Court more than Dancuart. So how did these two have to figure out that dynamic?
Well, and that's where you've seen Howells kind of step over and talk to Dancuart and take that leadership role and say, hey, it's all good. We're meant to be here. You're meant to be here. And there's definitely, Howells has been accustomed to playing on Championship Court, playing deeper in draws, winning medals. So, it's definitely still a learning process for Dancuart, and you can see why he's being targeted because of that lack of experience in these situations. Oh, little switch here. Barrientos staying on the left.
Barrientos
got him into it.
He got what he wanted right there, but again, he just drags the paddle through a little too slow, and he drops it too. He's got to get this earlier and get on top of it.
You could have cut the tension with a knife during that point. I don't have the official statistic, but I'm almost certain that was the longest point we have seen between these two teams so far here in this match. And now it's time to change ends here in this third game, and it's Dancuart and Howells up 6-1.
I will say this. There's no love lost between Barrientos and Howells.
Nope.
After New York, where Barrientos beat Howells. Howells has played with Kawka. They played together in Newport Beach, so he knows his game a little bit. So, Howells isn't gonna back down here. You saw the stare
down.
Saw
right there at 6-2 on that point right there, right? You see it. But yeah, you're right, Chad. You talked about that match they played in New York, and that was a big one. That was a huge match and a big win for Barrientos.
So it's a 6-1 lead here on the end change. Gives us a chance to tell you about the upcoming 2025 APP Collegiate Qualifiers. We are calling all college pickleball teams and players to secure your spot in an APP Collegiate Championships Regional Qualifier for a chance to enter Collegiate Championships January 3rd through the 5th. The remaining qualifiers are in St. Louis and Fort Lauderdale later this month and then in early December. Visit the app.global for more information. 6-1-2, Will Howells with the serve and the 5-point lead here in the game that will decide who moves on to the gold medal match.
And we have a collegiate qualifier going on right now here at the same time, trying to get to those finals in Indianapolis. Oh, wow, great job right there from Howells coming in and getting on top of that last ball.
So it's an 8-1 lead here for Howells and Dancuart. They just continue the momentum that they built in this third game out of the end change and
just cruising.
Yeah.
Really are.
Wheels are falling off a little bit here for Kawka and Barrientos. Need to just dial it in.
Side
out. Ball.
But on that ball right there, I would have loved to see Dancuart just come in and rip it, right?
Yeah.
It's 9-1. You're cruising. Put the pressure on them. Hit a good drive. Make them play it.
1-9-1.
And just go from there.
Yeah, good reach in there. So difference on that speed up there from Barrientos compared to the previous ones that we saw. Really reaching in, just does it with the wrist, adds nice quick shape to it, where the ones that flew out before just overswung.
Second server.
And you hear Will Howells pumping up his partner there. Mark Dancuart saying great hands, and it was. Pushes them on to their second serve. Barrientos with it. Great get by.
Paddle touch on the.
So it's called on Will Howells. As he volleyed that ball out of the air, his paddle drags through the kitchen, which is a result of a fault as well.
Yeah, it happened quickly there, but he was sliding across the court, put the paddle down for balance.
Dancuart with the authority that you guys have been wanting him to show to finish that point off and get the ball back on their side. It's going to be Will Howells with the serve up 9-2. Big serve from Howells. And then a nice third as well to set up a match point opportunity here for Mark Dancuart and Will Howells. Timeout called on the court by Barrientos and Kawka, trying to do what they can to stall this rhythm.
All right, Rockwell, we're here in the third and deciding.
And again, you see Kawka just toss his paddle back behind him. The universal sign of noise that Chad and I always talk about being timeout on court.
So we were talking about the qualifiers, the collegiate qualifiers happening here in Dallas, and here's a look. It's the next generation of pickleball players that you can expect to get familiar with here on Championship Court. This has been so fun to watch the APP Tour invest in this next generation, Dom.
Yeah, I see all the schools out there, and we had one about a week and a half ago out in Utah. I had a lot of teams out there, so 4 teams qualified there. 4 more teams will qualify from here this week. We'll get, I believe, 16 teams qualified for our January finals. Chad, you and I were there last year in Indianapolis. Absolute great atmosphere.
Fun event.
Yeah.
Match point opportunity here for Howells and Dancuart.
It's going to fall.
Yeah.
Oh, Howells almost gets there. Uh-oh.
Oh, he's got a hole in his shoe.
He burned his foot, is what he's saying. He's got a big hole already.
Howells with the sprint to try and get that ball, but just can't get there. So second serve, another match point opportunity here. That time, Will Howells, Mark Dancuart, leave no question. They take it 11-2 to lock in their spot in the men's doubles gold medal match here at the APP Dallas Open. We'll hear from the winners when we come back to Rockwall, Texas.
6-11, 11-3. They are moving on to our gold medal match, which will be featured here just later this afternoon.
People play pickleball for exercise, competition, or to hang out with friends. What your reason is doesn't matter to Gamma. What matters is that you play, that you enjoy playing with passion, and you have so much fun you can't wait to play again. At Gamma, we offer paddles perfect for all levels, including yours, because pickleball is about you, the player, and what feels right. Pickleball is your game. Make Gamma your paddle. Play to live, live to play. Gamma Pickleball.
I'm Ariel Pastori-Sebring here with Vlasic Pickles, and we're putting the pickle in pickleball. In pickleball, the term pickled is when you don't score any points in a game. This grilled Vlasic pickle recipe will score you all the points. Slice them in half long ways. Skewer your pickles, put those babies on the grill. Now we're gonna make our ranch. Roll in crushed potato chips. Winner's grilled pickles.
There we go. Another game? I'm done for the day. So is my shoulder.
Reach for Arnicare when sore muscles take you out of the game. This scientifically formulated pain reliever has no strong medicine smell, no greasy residue, and can be applied directly to where it hurts. Arnicare is powered by Arnica, an ingredient that has been trusted for centuries to provide relief from muscle pain, stiffness, and bruising. Don't let pain stop you from doing what you love. Reach for Arnicare and get back into the game. Available where you shop.
The APP is sponsored by Fulfill. We swear it's a protein bar. Humana, official healthcare partner of the APP Tour. And Fat Tire, crisp, bright, easy drinking.
And here's our Arnicare match point, Chad. How do Howells and Dancuart get it done?
Well, Dancuart was the predominant target for Kawka and Barrientos, but he found his rhythm. Howells stepped over, started to be a little bit more aggressive, used that reach in, that quick flick, and you see that big overhead for the finish. Really flipped the script there in game 3, and we're going to throw it down to AJ McCord, who's courtside for our Franklin post-match interview.
Thanks so much, you guys. Will, Mark, that was so fun to see you guys battle back in that third game with some dominance. What did you really tap into, Will, that you were able to finish off that match so strong?
Yeah, it was just energy and discipline. I think we got a little bit low in the energy in game 2, so coming out in the third game with a lot of energy and staying solid. We played more to one side in the second game. We decided to open it up a little bit and move the ball around more at the kitchen line. That helped a lot.
And for fans of the APP Tour, Mark, you're one of the newer faces that we've seen here on Championship Court, but I know you and Will practice together all the time. How have you developed, even throughout today, your dynamic as a duo here on the APP Tour?
Yeah, me and Will, we have great chemistry. We've been friends for a long time. He helps me with my pickleball game. I help him. We've had the late night grinds, 11 p.m., just out there dinking, just having fun, man. I love playing with Will. Great partner.
What's it going to take to win this gold medal match?
A lot of grit, fight. That's all it is.
Cannot wait to see it.
Ready to work. Let's get it.
Ready to work. Before they get to work, we have 2 women's semifinals coming your way at the APP Dallas Open. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.